You're asking me to get rid of my identity. That's my Lindy impression for this episode. So, Lindy takes her identity very seriously. Doggy gate number 2 happens, child, and couples throw their first party with their friends and families. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia, aka C-Flow, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to give my review, in my opinion, on Married at First Sight, season 15, episode 8, Party Ways. So, before we begin, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. It just take a little clicky, just a little click, help a sister out. I appreciate it. So let's move on to this episode. A lot going on in this episode. It's my identity. I'm sorry, I just thought that was funny. Okay, so Morgan and Ben. What's going on with Morgan and Ben, child? What ain't going on? Okay, so Ben doesn't understand why Morgan tells Pastor Cal or complains to Pastor Cal about lack of PDA when she's closed off and got her walls up because she still got her panties in the bunch about what I call nurse gate. There's a lot of gates going on here. You got nurse gate, you got name gate, you got doggy gate, you got insurance gate, you got all kind of gates going on in this episode and with this season. So, anywho, so he doesn't understand. He's talking to his friend. He says, "Look, I've apologized several times. I've apologized to her friends, her family, everybody." But his friend tells him, "You need to be patient. You guys are learning one another. Just be patient. And in time, hopefully, she will bring the wall down." Morgan, of course, is still holding the grudge as it relates to Ben and, like I call this one, Nurse Gate. All right, because she admits that her wall is up and she doesn't know how to take it down and she's hurt and blah 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 blah. All right. Her friend calls her on her ish because he apparently knows her and says, basically, you need to get over it and let it go and bring that wall down. So it comes to their party night. They're having a taco and tequila night, which I thought was funny. Before they had the taco and tequila night, I guess Ben showed his cheap ways by buying some cheap tequila. And I don't know what brand tequila he bought. And it looks like Morgan bought Terramana tequila, which is like one of my favorites, is by the Rock. But I wasn't sure. The bottle looked like it was. But anyway, she was saying how her tequila tastes really good. And when Ben tasted his tequila, he said it tastes like a frat party. So there you go with the cheap tequila. I'm a tequila connoisseur. So anyway, so their party comes, the people are coming, their friends and families coming to the party, and they ask, of course, how was the honeymoon and how do you guys feel about getting to know one another? And Morgan, a passive aggressively says, everything was fine. The wedding was great until the honeymoon. So then, of course, they're going to ask, what's going on with the honeymoon? What happened? And she's like egging. Ben's quiet because I know he's like, I don't want to bring this up because she already has her wall up and I don't know when she's going to take it down. So, and I don't want to discuss this around other people, but she's eating and going, tell him tell him how you feel. Tell your truth or something like that. So she was being a bitch, in my opinion, when it came to that. So then they kind of break up. They split up, and then Ben talks to her friends. Morgan talks to Ben's friend. And basically he brings up Nurse Gate and he admits that he was wrong and that he overreacted. Like, this poor man has been through trying to apologize and acknowledge that he was wrong, but he just can't cut a break. He even said he apologized to everybody and their baby mama, which I thought was funny. Her friends basically says that it takes time, that Morgan does have a way of holding grudges for a while. Well, how the hell long is it going to take, Morgan? You just need to... Okay, so apparently, I don't know if I said this in my last video about Married at First Sight and Morgan, but she really needs to get some counseling to get past whatever childhood trauma she has experienced, because she talked about how she doesn't have a relationship with her dad and she has a hard time trusting people. So in my opinion, she really needs to get some counseling to kind of get past that, because it's causing issues in her marriage already. And this is only like, well, week number 2 or day 15, 17, something like that. Anyway, Ben's friends tell Morgan that he had no ill intent and that he is very sorry, which he does seem extremely sorry about it. They also ask her to not to hold that against him, basically, and that you guys are still getting to know one another, and that she needs to forgive and forget. So that sums up the Morgan and Ben situation, except when the ladies meet together and all the men meet together, she kind of says some things, but we'll talk about it later. So let's move to Justin and Alexis, child. Okay, so Alexis FaceTimes her sister. She tells her about Doggy Gate. She says that Justin tells her that she loves him, that he loves her, and she tells her sister that she reciprocated. But she knows that she loves him, but she's not in love with him. She still has reservations because of the vagueness that she says that he has. That she doesn't understand that she needs to give him a chance, right? So apparently, Doggy Gate number 2 happens because it looks like Justin was responsible for giving Newton his medications. But Newton has been getting sick and throwing up and all that kind of stuff. I think she said he was throwing up blood too. This poor dog has suffered a lot with this marriage, and it's only been 17 days, child. Anyway, so Justin tells Morgan, not Morgan, Justin tells Alexis later that Newton hasn't eaten anything in 2 days. Well, of course, you can't have that medication in on an empty stomach. So that's why Newton was getting sick. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? See, that's what I'm talking about. You vague, you holding information back. I can't trust you, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So he kind of added salt to the wound, so to speak. So, which, I'm like, most people, I mean, I don't know. To me, you should know that whether it's human or a dog or a cat or whatever, you don't give them medication if they're not eating. But, maybe he just wasn't thinking. Woo, child. All right. So she calls out his vagueness again. He said he thought he was doing the right thing. He thought he was taking care of Newton. He's sorry. Then they get into an argument, and then she decides she wants to leave. And then he says, you always want to leave when we get into an argument. It was just a hot mess. So they decide to go to a candy shop to get things for their 90s theme party. And they end up arguing in the candy shop because Justin says he's not happy when she threatens to leave. She says, you do the same thing, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Justin accuses Alexis of getting off on the drama. So she gets really pissed about that and she says she's leaving. She tells the producers to take the mic off of her. So that's what happened with the whole candy shop thing. She ends up taking the mic off because she's pissed off. The night of the party, Alexis brings up to everyone, friends and family, their marital issues, because she apologizes to Justin and says, I usually talk to you before I bring things up to other people. I'm sorry, but I just didn't want to be fake and phony and act like everything's going great. But she still brings it up. Let's see. Yeah, she didn't want to pretend like they were getting along. His friends tell Alexis basically, guys don't really think about things ahead of time. They're not as good as that as females. And you will have to have conversations. You may have to have conversations with him over and over again, meaning if there's something that's bothering you, you're going to have to bring it up over and over and over and over again. And to some extent, he's right. I've experienced it where I've had to say, babe, put the toilet seat down. And then I fall in the damn toilet seat. Babe, put the toilet seat down. Let me know in the comments if you've been in a relationship and you've had to tell someone something over and over and over again to try and get it in their head that this is the behavior that you want. So I get what his friend was saying. Her friends tell Justin to ask her, what does she need when they're in an argument? What do you need from me? Do you need time? Do you need me to back off? Like, you need to tell me what it is, how you want to handle it. How do you want me to handle you when we have arguments? So I get that. But Justin is afraid that all of his F-ups, as he calls it, he said the true word, but will cause her to say no on decision day. So he's worried about that. Stasha and Nate. Nate tells his friends everything is going well. He says Stasha is very open and about her feelings and how he feels like he needs to go deeper into conversations because she's told him that. Nate is going to sign up for therapy because he feels like that's an issue of him not being able to open up like that. So I think that's very commendable if he follows through. It's the night. Oh yeah, he doesn't. Oh, he doesn't want to be vulnerable and fall for her. And on decision day, she decides that she wants a divorce. So that kind of explains why he's pulling back a little bit. It's the night of their 70s theme party, and they have honeymoon pics like spread out on the tables. I thought that was really cute, and they do look like a cute couple. I still don't trust Nate's ass, but they do really do look like a cute couple, and everyone was complimenting on that. He brings up Stasha's family and friend ask him how things are going. He brings up the fact that Stasha wants kids within the year, and that's a bit much for him. He's not sure. Then he goes into this thing about, I don't know how she is around kids. Like, seriously, dude, if you know her character, you could kind of tell if somebody's going to be good with kids or not. And then he's worried about her work schedule, but that is a big concern. But there's people every single day, females every single day, who can go out and work, buy the bacon, put it up in the pan and fry it up, however that thing goes, and still be a good mom. My mom worked, both of my parents worked, and we came out just fine. So, let's see. I wanted kids where she knows how to articulate, and he was saying that she knows how to articulate and has been in therapy so that he feels that the therapy has helped her. He says he's like a C+ student, which I don't know where he got with that, but he's not, but he's giving 100%. And I think he told them that he was going to therapy too. Nate's friends asked Stasha about kids so soon, and she's like, yeah, dude, I'm like 37. Okay, tick tock, ticky tacky tock, right? Friend says Nate didn't have a mom when he was growing up, and he wants to feel like he can take care of the kids minus her income, basically. Friend says that he grew up, his childhood wasn't the easiest, that his father was military, but says that military, and I guess he grew up kind of strict, I guess is what his friend was trying to say, and that Nate is very open minded and that she needs to be patient. So now we go to Kristen and Mitch. Kristen catches up with her friend Joanna, says that they have a difference in clutter and housekeeping. That is an understatement. When I saw that dude's kitchen and that stove, that's an understatement. But she says it's not a deal breaker. Now, see, I don't know. That might be a deal breaker for me. I'm sorry. Some nasty kitchen I can't deal with. But hey, more power to her. That's not a deal breaker for her. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. Would that be a deal breaker for you? Think about what that kitchen looked like. Think about that storage room he had, and let me know if you feel like that would be a deal breaker or not. I don't know. For me, it might be. All right, so they have their first argument about the theme of their party. And they landed, meaning Mitch demanded, if you ask me, to have something called, I wrote this down. They landed on a retro futurism theme. What the F? What is that? Joanna asked if Mitch knows about her last engagement. Yeah. You know, about how she uh, was engaged and she used her life savings to pay for the wedding. And it was a destination wedding, and how her fiance's mistress contacted her like 2 weeks before. It was like, yeah, we've been seeing each other for 2 years or however many. And she said, no, she hasn't told him because in the past, when she has told other men, they start looking at her differently or treating her differently. So she was a little fearful of letting him know about that. Let's see here. And yet she makes it seem like that men will kind of run away when she tells him that. Listen, the friend says you just need to tell him. And if he runs, he runs. He wasn't for you anyway, which I agree. So Kristen shares this story with Mitch about the fiance and all this other stuff. And he was just staring at her. And then she explained how they still had the celebration, or they still went on the wedding trip because it was already paid for. And she told Mitch how her and her mom wrote a letter to all the guests and said, "Hey, we're still having the celebration. We just won't have a groom." So he goes, "Well, that's weird." And then kind of weird, kind of judgmental a little bit, because what I felt was a little bit judgment. That she says it's not weird. Everybody came. We had a good time. Mitch tells her, reassures her that he says he's sorry that happened, and that he doesn't feel any kind of way about it, that because she didn't do anything wrong, which is true. And he said he will never do what her past fiance did, and she feels relieved. So we get to the party, child. I'm gonna call it the lame, goofy party. It's the lame, goofy party, as you ask me. So she gets reprimanded by Mitch because she buys plastic ramekins to make the jello shots. That's what I do. When I do my jello shots, I go to Walmart, I buy them little plastic ramekins. They work beautifully. Well, he's mad because, it's plastic. So he's an environmentalist. So she goes back and buys these metal ramekins, which cost a lot of money. She said it was like 20 times more, which it is true. So she bought 24 metal ramekins to make him happy. Kristen says that she tells him, as they're preparing for people to come, that she would like to plan the next party. I don't blame you, because I don't know what this ish was, child. Ooh, child. Kristen's friends, everyone starts showing up. And one of her friends brings, well, she didn't dress up, which Mitch said something smart ass about that, like she didn't get the memo or something. And then her friend brought her a drink. Now I don't know if it was an alcoholic drink, in a plastic cup and a straw. So I know Mitch was like, "Ah, ah, 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 ah," right? So he said something to his friend, like somebody didn't get the memo about no plastics or something sly like that. And then things starts to get a little weird with their little party, because they were like not really holding hands and shaking hands and doing stuff like this, like it's freaking Star Trek or something. I don't know. And then they start dancing. And I swear that was the craziest thing I ever seen in my life. That's why I called it lame. That party was lame. Good Lord have mercy. So after that, her friends ask how the living situation is. She says it's easy to live with him, but the extreme environmentalism is more than she thought it was. She is walking around on eggshells. And she wants him to be patient when it comes to that thing. And his friends tell her that she just needs to her friends tell her that he needs to adjust as well. She can't be the only one making adjustments, which is true. It's a one-way street. You got to compromise. Can't be one person changing and making and always compromising, which is true. Her friends wants to know if he checks all her boxes, or does she feel like she needs to make this work. And she really didn't answer that question about checking all the boxes, but she did say she feels like they need to make it work because they are married. And she just needs to be sure that he can be serious, because apparently he hasn't been really serious, and that he's in it for a lifetime. He tells her friends or his friends, oh, his friends, sorry, that she is trying with the environmentalist stuff. Um, and that he says that the dog snores, so he brings up the dog again, kept him up, as we know, because he said that last week. And he wants to understand why the dog is so precious when he's a useless creature. So you don't say that to dog lovers. I'm just saying. I'd have a problem with that because I'm a dog lover. All right. Lindy and Miguel. Oh my God. It's my identity. I'm sorry. That just cracked me up. That was too dramatic for me. So Miguel and his friend Steve, they talk about the marriage. Miguel says the both of them that they're into each other, that marriage is great. He feels secure that of having a wife. Steve wants to know if she will fit in with their group. And he pretty much says yeah, because she basically accepts him for who he is. And Miguel says she meets the three things that he wanted. I don't remember what those three things were. It was not that memorable. And that he thinks he will actually have feelings for her, he actually has feelings for her. So they have their party night. Their theme was game show contestants. Okay. And they begin to play, newlywed game and all this other stuff. Her friends asked Miguel um, if there are things that about him that she doesn't know. And he said that they've been having deep talks. They share deep darkies, because they talk about the dark place, and that they're pretty much open minded and talk about everything. His friends asked Lindy if they've had any disagreements. So she brings up health insurance. So apparently she is asking to be put on his health insurance because she doesn't have health insurance. Miguel wants her to change her name and take his name right away. They discuss she tells him that he's dangling the health insurance in front of her by basically saying, if you change your name to my last name, then you'll be put on my insurance, which is whack. You just don't be dangling no stuff like that. So basically, he wants her to take his name in order for her to be on insurance. Anyway, Lindy says that he does not want to care for her as his wife, and that is a red flag for her, right? So after the party, they continue the whole last name insurance gate talk, right? And then she goes into that whole, it's my identity that you're asking me to get rid of. I've had this name for so long and blah, blah, blah. And then she starts cussing, and Miguel's looking at her like, what the hell is going on? And I think he said to the producers that he really don't like that side of her. He may even told her that. I think he tells her that later, that he didn't like that side of her. But she really got passionate about him wanting her to change her name, and that's, you're asking me to get rid of part of my identity and all that stuff, and the dramatics. All right. So you fast forward, I don't know if it's day after, whatever. All the men meet together and all the ladies meet together. So they catching up. Alexis asks if they are enjoying marriage and having a time of her lives, but she was being facetious about that, of course. Kristen says that things are like going from 0 to a 100 for all of them, basically, spending every moment with this person that you've only known for a short amount of time. Alexis says Justin likes to kiss her while she's on the toilet doing number two. That was too much information. Yeah. Mitch tells the guys that things are going great. She really likes him and she likes his weirdness. Apparently, she does. Kristen, feels like this is a lifelong marriage, and he takes care of her. And that the marriage that they had at the wedding is totally different than at the honeymoon. It's totally different now. So things have turned around. Mitch, of course, brings up the dog. Ben says he thinks he's allergic to cats and that the cat is mean and hisses at him. And then Miguel says he has the same issue with Lindsay's cat. And then, of course, Alexis bring up doggy gate number 2. Stasha says, she has moments where she shares and she feels like she's telling the person or her partner, whomever, everything that needs to be said, but then she'll think a week later, oh, I forgot to mention that. So she was basically telling Alexis that sometimes you don't remember to bring up things and to be patient with him and give him time, and don't be so hard on him, and that he can't change overnight. Lindy lets everybody know about insurance/name gate. Kristen says to the producers that she gets it. She understands why Miguel is like, you need to change your name. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, on the one hand, he seems like he's traditional where you should change your name to my name. And then she's like, I'm your wife, but I only know you for 17 days, but put me on your health insurance. It's a weird situation. Yeah, I gotta think on that. I don't know how I feel about that. I think personally for me, I would wait until the 8 weeks to see if we together. I think she can wait 7 more weeks or 6 more weeks, however they got left, without health insurance to determine if they're gonna be together. I don't know if I would be changing my name right away. You know what I mean? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I don't think I would be changing my name until after 8 weeks and I felt like we were gonna be together. Anywho, let's see. Oh, she talks about how she needs insurance and that she needs to feel secure that this is a forever thing before she changes her name. Stasha says she gets it and says Miguel pretty much needs to earn her having to change her name. Miguel tells the men about the communication styles between them and how they had that argument and how it got negative, and he needs to make sure that Lindy is the right person for him and vice versa. Miguel asks who has consummated their marriage. Everybody looking at each other. It's like crickets. Justin says he's had no luck, that he's tried. Alexis tells everybody that he's been having wet dreams. Child, that's too much information too. That's almost too much information as it is about him taking wanting to kiss you while he's on the toilet. Mitch says it's Mitch says when they finally do have sex, it'll be cosmic event when that happens. And Ben says it'll probably last for 2 minutes. Now that was funny. He's probably right though. So, dude's been Justin's been celibate for I don't know what he say, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, it'll probably last for 2 minutes. Kristen admits that they have been having sex like rabbits, and Mitch pretty much tells them that they've been having sex, and Nate was saying he was rooting for them, and he seems like he's happy that they consummated their marriage. Nate says that he and Stasha have not consummated the marriage yet, but he did have dessert after dinner. Ow! So I think we all know what he means by that. All right. But Justin goes, Justin's asking, what does he mean by that? Lord. Okay, Justin. Lord Jesus. So, and then Nate alludes to the fact that while he was eating dessert, 5 minutes later there was fireworks. So Mitch is pretty much says that that's more of an appetizer and not a meal or whatever. But I'm still stuck on Justin trying to figure out what he meant by that. You know what he meant by that. Let's see. Morgan says her walls are up. Duh, we already know your walls are up. And she was trying to accept his apology, but she's not sure how to bring that wall down. This is how you bring the wall down. Go to counseling. Okay, go to counseling and figure out how to do that. She does acknowledge that Ben is a good guy. He does seem like a good guy. Lindy says that is huge. Oh, so Morgan says how they get along. They go work out together. They eat together. They do things together. So Lindy tries to point out to her, which I agree, that that's huge because they have a good friendship. Now, if it was like she don't want to be around him and stuff, they probably won't make it. She hopes that Morgan can give Ben grace. I think we all do. Counseling, Morgan. That's my suggestion. Let's see. Miguel tells Ben, Ben says he ain't getting no action because her wall's up. And Miguel tells Ben to be affectionate with her if that's how he's feeling, so that she feels like she's wanted and needed. Mitch brings up, do the little high school moves, like, when you put your arm around somebody and then you accidentally touch the boob or whatever. That's sort of what he was trying to say, just to show her that he's interested, even though her walls are up. The walls might come down slowly. Kristen suggests that Morgan and Ben start over and go on a date, even if it's a taco truck date. Lindy says that's the hard part of marriage, and there's lots of hope for goodness. So the hard part of marriages is having disagreements and trying to get back on track, because you're going to fall in and out of love. Morgan admits that she needs to explore resetting and starting over. Praise God, she done dang on admitted it. All right. And lastly, after the group meeting, we go back to Miguel and Lindy. And he asked her, what did you share with everyone? She says that she shared the whole insurance / name change gate. He feels like he expresses to her that you came down on me hard. She says she wasn't feeling heard, which is why she lashed out like that. That he needs to see these sides, that they both need to see these sides of each other, like the ugly side, the sides of them that comes out when you have an argument with someone. You're going to say something slick, smart, hurt the feelings or whatever, but you need to see these sides to really know if you want to be with this person. Now, I get it. Lindy gets it. I think she gets what it takes to be married. I get that feeling about her. just based on the things that she says. Miguel said that he didn't like that place where she was, and she says she is sorry. But here's the thing, Miguel, it can't be rainbows all the time. Like, you got to accept the person, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I don't think he gets that. Miguel says that he finally says that he will put her on the health insurance. She's like, that's all I wanted. And that he likes of the idea of them being married. So that's pretty much it. It was a little bit of drama. It's my identity. Um, yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know though. A lot of these couples, in my opinion, right now are not going to make it if they don't adjust. Let me know in the comments if you feel that way or you feel differently. That's pretty much it. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click like for this video. It's just a little clicky clicky. It only take you like a second, maybe a millisecond. That's all I'm saying. Thank you. I thank you in advance. How about that? So until next time, peace.